can make me.
Hi everyone, welcome back to my podcast. Today I have a very special guest, all the way from Seattle, Joy,
Hello.
and Tante Helen.
Hi.
How are you guys doing?
I'm great. It's 12 a.m. here. It's almost like 12:21. But I'm still wide awake.
What about you, Tante Helen?
I'm fine. By His grace, and thank you for this opportunity.
Oh gosh, this is such a privilege.
Okay,
Yeah.
so before we start the podcast, do a brief introduction of yourself. So let's start with maybe Tante Helen and then Joy.
Yeah, kenalin, I'm Helen. I have 3 kids and then 4 grandkids, and kita selalu berjalan bersama dengan Tuhan. Ya, is enough?
What about you, Joy?
Oh, my mom doesn't look her age. She looks like she's 30. We should play a game to guess her age. She always looks young. So hi everyone, my name is Joy. I live in Seattle, Washington with my 3 children and my husband. I love books, coffee, I love long naps. I love to chat with my girlfriends, which I cannot do it right now. I'm still getting used to all the squares, talking in squares. So I hope we can get to know each other better.
I totally agree with you with the coffee. Today I was so stressed because I got like 4 hours of sleep and I had no coffee and I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yes, our life motto is saved by Jesus and coffee.
So today we will be talking about physical, spiritual, and emotional stability. As I know that Tante Helen, who's also our guest speaker, it's such an honor to have you in my podcast because Tante Helen's actually a youth mentor. She speaks for young children and also for women, adults. And I want to know, and everybody else wants to know, for you guys, what do you think is the definition of physical, spiritual, and emotional stability? Let's start with maybe Joy.
Okay. I think I talk a lot in parables, like in pictures, because I feel like that paints a good picture in our head. I feel like every human being, God created us to have 3 layers, which is physical, mental, and spiritual. A lot of times we focus a lot on our physical health. We want to be fit. We want to look great. We want to have a good skincare. We want to look young and healthy and fit, But we often forget the hidden layers, which is the mental and spiritual, which has a lot to do with our emotional health, our spiritual relationship with our Father in heaven. And what I meant by that is that, okay, I went hiking with my children the other day, and I saw this huge tree, beautiful tree, but then this beautiful tree was collapsed because of the wind. And once this tree collapsed, you can actually see the roots. And the roots were actually, compared to the height and the massiveness size of this tree, the root was actually very, very, very illogically short. So that's what it meant. That root is actually our spiritual and mental stability. So when having stability, physical, emotional, and mental stability, and spiritual, that means that the depth of our root that is hidden needs to be able to support our physical thing that is seen by the world. Does that make sense? So spiritual, emotional, and physical stability means that what is hidden needs to support what is seen. That's my definition.
That's a very brief, like, visualization.
Yes, it's very visual because I can tell my kids, hey, you can see this tree collapse, because from the outside it looks great, it's majestic and beautiful. And if you see what's hidden under the ground, there's not enough support in terms of mental and spiritual stability. That's my definition of it, I guess. I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, that's a very good perspective. Tante Helen, I'm gonna ask you too the same question. Menurut Tante Helen, secara physical dan secara spiritual and emotional, tuh kayak apa orang yang stabil?
Okay, maybe Tante banyak cerita tentang pengalaman Tante sebagai kesaksian hidup ya. Karena manusia kan terdiri dari roh, tubuh, jiwa. Nah, Tante itu mengalami dan mengawasi bahwa banyak zaman sekarang itu in life, di dalam kehidupan seseorang itu kita memperhatikan seperti tadi kata Joy, memperhatikan yang di luar tapi rapuh di dalam. Yang di dalam itu apa? Yang tidak kelihatan itu spiritual and jiwa. Ya, jiwa itu pikiran, perasaan, kehendak. So ternyata Tante juga menjalani hidup itu apa yang tersembunyi itu sebetulnya yang diperhatikan Tuhan sih. Kalau kita physically sick ya, kalau kita pilek lah sakit, kita pasti cari dokter. Tapi kalau jiwa kita sakit, ya, cara pikir kita, kehendak kita, itu kita nggak cari dokter, tapi simptomnya ada. Tapi banyak zaman sekarang itu anak muda, terutama anak muda, I concern about the young generation. Kalau diperhatikan kayaknya mereka itu hidupnya enak, no problem, tapi kenapa why kena panic attack, kena apa? Itu semua itu masalah jiwa. Ternyata physically itu nggak bisa menembus, kerohanian pun kadang-kadang kerohaniannya bagus gitu, bagi ibadah, doa dan lain sebagainya. Tapi Tuhan itu memperhatikan jiwa itu. Nah, jiwa itu pasti kenapa bisa lemah itu karena banyak kejadian yang kesimpan. Ya, itu kayak kesimpan dalam kita. Nah, itu lama-lama jadi penyakit. Nah, Tante pernah mempelajari my symptom about jadi Tante tahu my soul is not healthy gitu, karena aku bisa kesinggungan, aku bisa panic attack, aku bisa apa, itu sebagai tanda bahwa I'm weak in my soul. Kenapa bisa weak? Because so many pressure, so many problem when I go through in this life yang aku gak bisa cerita. Even I love God very much. I go to church and everything. Tapi rupanya itu yang diperhatikan as a Christian, kita harus Tuhan expect kita itu anak-anaknya punya jiwa yang sehat, cara pikir yang sehat, punya perasaan sehat, ya tidak berpikiran negatif, gitu, selalu positif ya. Joy maybe knows my life more than anyone kecuali Tuhan ya. Joy knows how I go through gitu. Tapi makin ke depan, I know that God is so good gitu, bahwa Dia bukan hanya menyembuhkan physically kita, tapi justru yang di-concern God itu jiwa kita itu harus sehat. Nah, jiwa kita sehat gimana? Ya caranya kita ngadepin orang ya. Our spiritual maturity itu dari sikap kita terhadap keluarga kita, terhadap teman kita itu sehat nggak gitu. Nah, kenapa kok orang bisa panic attack, bisa distress, bisa apa? Tante dikasih banyak pengalaman untuk melayani orang-orang yang distress. Itu padahal kita punya good God, we just simply talk to Him. God, I'm sick gitu. Aku tuh sakit, jiwaku ini enggak sehat. Heal me gitu. Kalau kita physical sakit, kita bilang Tuhan sembuhkan aku oleh bilurmu, oleh apa. Tapi God bilang ask me. When you are sick because kamu nyimpen banyak hal yang sebetulnya enggak harus disimpan. So ya itu I want to be someday terutama untuk anak-anak muda, I'm very concerned ya kenapa Tuhan kirimkan banyak orang yang di usia yang muda. I think itu yang dibongkar sama Tuhan itu kerikil yang because Tuhan kepengen kita itu sehat gitu as His testimony. Kalau kita jiwanya sakit gimana how can we be shine for Christ gitu. Jadi yang diperbaiki itu harus dalamnya dulu. Joy mungkin bisa kasih testimoni, I don't care gitu how sick I am, bahwa aku marah-marah kepada anak lah, terus mungkin anak-anak jadi korban karena banyak mengalami itu. Tapi we have a good God yang Tuhan yang memulihkan. Ingat itu, Tuhan itu Tuhan yang memulihkan, bukan hanya menyelamatkan, tapi Dia Tuhan memulihkan, menyembuhkan. Gitu. anak kita anak-anaknya.
Thank you for the long explanation on that. Joy, why is it important for millennials to be aware, to be healthy, not only physically but mentally and spiritually?
Right, right. I feel like this generation, millennials. I'm included in the older millennials, by the way. So I barely made the cut, but I think I made it.
Boomer.
So what happened with our generation is that we focus heavily on looking good on the outside. So not even in social media or anything, but in the office, in the schools, a lot of people are focusing on charm, personality, followers, public image, like communication skill. If you're good at sports, you'll make it far, especially in United States right now. People celebrate talents, they celebrate athletes. If you're good at talking, you'll write in the corporate ladder pretty quick with your charm and wit. Now, I read this book, which I highly recommend. This is Seven Habits of Highly Effective People. This guy says that a lot of the successful people from the outside, which is CEO, preachers even, like people yang udah 60, 50, 60 years old, very rich, they have this problem down the road. I give example of their problems. We're talking about corporate owners nih, people yang udah make it in life, okay? Dia write letters to this guy, this author. Dia bilang gini, I have set my career goals. I'm having tremendous professional success, but it cost me my personal and family life. I don't even know my wife and kids anymore. I'm not even sure I know myself anymore. Is it worth it? Is my success worth it? They start to crumble down the road. We're talking about very short routes, ya. Yang tadi Mami bilang gitu, kayak my mom said about kejiwaannya dan spiritual life-nya yang nggak di-pay attention gitu. Nih, another CEO said this, my teenage son is rebellious and he's on drugs. No matter what I try, he won't listen to me. What can I do? And then they talk again about my marriage has gone flat. We don't fight about anything, but we don't love each other anymore. We've gone to counseling, we tried number of things, but we just can't seem to rekindle the feeling we used to have. These are the problems when our society worship personality and achievement that looks good from the outside, but they don't focus on character, which is integrity, humility, fidelity, temper, courage, justice, patience, simplicity, patient, modesty, and just simply loving God and loving people, the things that are hidden. We don't value that anymore as a society. We are surrounded, like I'm guilty of this too, by this magnificently strong trees on the outside, but with stumpy roots. So what happened when pandemic hits, what happened when the wind blows, we're going to see a lot of fallen trees here and there. And these stories are just magnifying this problem, Esther. So I feel very burdened. And about this inner pandemic, I guess, because I'm not scared of, as much as we're cautious about COVID-19, the things that can kill you bodily, I'm concerned about the virus that can kill us spiritually on the inside. So that's the thing. When you ask me the question, why is it important to have mental and spiritual health? I feel like that's the thing. We don't want to have a life that looks glamorous on the outside, but then we have to write this kind of sad letters one day. Like, my marriage has gone flat, my kids are on drugs, I don't even know myself anymore. I'm sitting on a bunch of wealth, but I don't even know myself anymore. That's a really sad story to have, and I don't want that. I'd rather not have that wealth, but I know exactly my purpose in God. I know exactly my children is walking in truth. And it's all about simplicity. It's all, like, come back to the roots, come back to your character. Are you humble? Are you serving? Are you genuine? Do you have a relationship with Jesus? You know, that's all come back to the root. So I'm encouraging Esther's friends, and I'm encouraging myself to let's look on the inside. Let's look underneath the ground, and let's do the dirty work of growing our roots. Does that make? I hope that makes sense.
Very clear and concise explanation. I also think that like the part where you say I rather not have the money, the fortune, and fame, but know myself and know my family.
Right.
I think that it's also a big it's a big sense of shift of perspective, because the thing is, like,
Yes.
a lot of people think that those things are actually something to have when they're actually the most important thing that is life. And we're so focused on things that are very temporary, like dreams, the money, the satisfaction, especially the things that really make us like happy in a way. And society today kind of explains that a lot. So it's really good for us to maybe shift our perspective. And like I really like the point you made about being able to have that mindset and not prioritizing it, knowing that it's not that important.
Right. Like tangibly, like for example, instead of pushing our kids or ourselves to achieve sports, you know, like trophies and awards and followers, I'd rather spend my life disconnected from the social media and actually read a book or actually study a verse.
Yeah. Tante Helen, on to you. Kan kalau di Amerika kan beda situasinya, kayak Cijoy gitu kan beda. Kalau misalnya kita taruh situasinya di anak-anak muda Indonesia, menurut Tante, struggle terbesar anak-anak muda Indonesia sekarang tuh apa ya?
Masalah anak-anak muda di sini?
Iya, di Indonesia. Masalah terbesar mereka secara mental dan secara spiritual. Kan pasti agak berbeda sama orang yang di Amerika.
Oke. Kalau menurut Tante ya, di Indonesia I don't know why, tapi lebih complicated di Indonesia. Very complicated how we deal with people, ya, with a complicated mind, karena kita lebih banyak bersinggungan dengan orang-orang dan lain sebagainya, dan we can tell bahwa seringkali kok orang ini gini, kok orang itu gitu, padahal itu akarnya semua ada di dalam yang belum solve. You know, tapi kembali lagi, so generally ya anak-anak di Indonesia, saya enggak tahu, kita seluruh dunia sekarang mengalami satu topik yang sama, dan I'm concerned about the young generation, karena old generation, well, kita tinggal berapa langkah lagi, we never know, tapi yang tua-tua ini put hope in you as a young generation. Karena Tuhan itu selalu memberikan visinya seperti Kaleb, Yosua, segala itu yang nanti menghadapi, apalagi tantangan zaman itu adalah you guys gitu. Jadi dalam hidup ini ya, my dream also, Jesus has the desire also in this dark world gitu ya. He needs us to shine kan. Kalau orang gelap itu kan perlu center. Nah kita lihat dunia ini yang begitu gelapnya, kita butuh terang, dan Tuhan itu ngomong you are the light and the salt. You are. Dia nggak bilang be the light apa-apa, you are. Jadi kita ini adalah terang dan garam dunia di tengah-tengah dunia yang gelap ini, especially di anak-anak muda gitu, di tengah menghadapi ini sekarang sekolah nggak bisa. Aduh kesian kalau lihat anak-anak di Indonesia, mereka harus pakai seragam, ngadepi video call ya, terus harus duduk manis di itu tanpa bisa bersentuhan satu sama lain, dan itu merupakan satu new normal kan. Mungkin saya bisa kasih tip ya, bagaimana kembali lagi ke tadi bahwa jiwa yang sakit itu nggak bisa jadi terang dan garam. Makanya Tuhan itu benerin dulu what's wrong with you, what's wrong inside you gitu kan. Kita harus belajar juga ciri-ciri orang sakit jiwa itu apa. Misalnya ada orang ngomong, dia enggak maksud, kita bisa ngomong, orang ini begini, always negatif ya. Tapi itu semua mau di free sama Tuhan. Tuhan want us to be has a freedom. Sembuh itu artinya free dari sakit penyakit seperti itu, dari negative thought, dari apa, dari segala sesuatu yang mengikat gitu, yang nggak bikin hidup kita itu nggak enak itu. Tuhan itu gitu. Jadi kalau kita tahu, waduh ini aku kayaknya sakit. Pertama mesti dimulai dengan kesadaran, waduh ini aku sakit. Karena kok aku ketemu siapa aja aku nggak happy ya gitu. Kenapa ya? Gitu. What's wrong with me? Baru you kepengen sembuh gitu. Sick people, seek the doctor. Kalau you nggak merasa kita sakit, oh kamu sakit loh, kamu bersin-bersin, kamu panas. No, I'm not sick. Ya itu susah. You will not try your best untuk bisa heal. Tapi kalau kita sudah tahu kita sembuh, kita roh tubuh jiwa kita sembuh, I think we will use by God to shine for this world. Kembali lagi pertanyaan Natalia, anak-anak di Indonesia saya rasa aduh complicated, dia harus ngadepi orang tua juga macam-macam, pikiran orang tua nggak selalu sama dengan anak. Sometimes nggak semua orang bisa ngertiin kita. Nobody. Even you come from the very good spiritual family, tapi kalau thought-nya, pikirannya itu nggak sama di dalam cara berpikir Alkitab, ya itu will be different sih. Tapi kalau patokan kita itu what the Bible said, ya itu baru bisa orang tua juga ngasih nasihat berdasarkan firman. Anak muda yang live by feeling ya, khususnya tante kepengen kasih tahu bahwa we are not living by based on our feeling sih. Suka enggak suka, tapi we has to be strong. Karena Tuhan kita itu adalah Tuhan yang melatih kita militan. Kenapa Tuhan melatih kita militan? Karena yang di hadapan kita nanti ke depannya itu susah loh. Gitu. Kita akan digiles kalau kita nggak kuat. So I always pesan sama Joy for this generation, kamu didik anak kamu secara kuat ya. Gitu. Jangan spoil. Karena comfort itu will bring to something yang nggak bisa bikin orang kuat gitu. Nanti untuk face the tough life, how kalau kita bilang nggak mau hadapi masalah itu nonsense. And then what's the foundation? Kayak kamu bilang perinya kayaknya kokoh gitu, tapi akarnya pendek. So build the foundation. Foundationnya apa ya? Firman kan. You concern about your school, you concern about everything. Tapi the most concern is inside of you. Gitu.
Yeah. Do you want to elaborate anything, maybe, Joy?
Yeah, that's a very good point, Zee, from my mom. I think that's pretty. Apa ya, paling penting tuh kayak you need to know who you are and how God sees you. I think that's the bottom line, Zee. Because once we understand not how we see ourselves, not how our friends see ourselves, not how your followers see yourself, but how Jesus, your creator, God the Father who loves you most sees you. Once you know that, then you will feel so valued, you will feel so loved that you don't need approval from people anymore. You don't even need approval from your parents even, because you are accepted and loved just by who you are. Identity is the roots, basically, is the beginning of growing your roots. Kan kita tadi ngomongin soal how to grow solid foundation and roots kan. I think finding who you are in God's eyes, I think that's the beginning of it all, gitu. The journey of growing that strong roots. Once we know who we are with God, your life is gonna be so secure. You don't care what people talk about you. You don't care whether people have negative comments about you or unfollowing you in social media. You don't care about all of that anymore. I'm loved by the biggest Father that created the whole universe. He accepts me. He sees me as his valuable daughter. That is more than enough. So I think that is just the basic foundational, thing from all this mental and spiritual health that we're discussing today.
We're actually running out of time. I'm going to ask one last question to kind of close this in.
Right.
Maybe I would ask you, Joy, first, and then I'll ask Tante Helen. So the question for both of you is that there are, again, still some millennials struggling with mental health, spiritual health, self-gender identity, and stuff like that. And orang kan beda-beda. Like, there are people who prefer to pray and look for God, but there are also people who tend to maybe look for it in improvement book and meditation
Yeah.
and stuff like that.
Right.
So what's spiritual advice on
Right.
the
Okay, I'm just gonna keep it short and make it applicable gitu. Again, layernya kan tadi physical. Kalau lu mau sehat fisik ya kita minum yang sehat, kita exercise ya kan, we eat healthy. Mental, don't mix it up with spiritual. Mental is jiwa ya kan. Jiwa is something yang very human gitu loh. If you like to take a nap, take a nap. You know, if you like to take a walk, and do exercise. Do the things that feed your soul, make you happy. It's nothing spiritual about it. You know, if you love reading books or writing or painting, or just invest in some good equipment for you to paint gitu loh. If you like to create art, you know, just do the things that make your soul happy. And that's mental. That's very simple thing. Even in the weekends, if you want to lay in the couch all day, do it. You know, if that will recharge you. What fuels you mentally? And the third one is spiritual. Now, spiritual is when you connect with Jesus, when you have your prayer time. That's when you read a book, listen to podcasts. Like Esther, you and me, without Elevation Church, we are not here today. without a podcast that we hear like getting yelled at every Monday by Pastor Stephen, we're not here today. So those are the things. I need that for my spiritual growth. So do something to grow your root. Don't stay where you're at. If you're not happy, do something about it. Take care of yourself. You cannot give to the world what you don't have. So let Jesus take care of you and take care of yourself. Yeah, that's my advice. And I'll be praying for all of you.
mungkin pendek aja
Kalau
soalnya
Tante singkat aja ya, Tante bilang fill your cup gitu. Hidup kita harus dipenuhi dengan Tuhan gitu. Terutama anak-anak muda itu supaya nggak cari-cari di dunia ini, karena if you feel content, kalau kita kekosongan kita diisi sama Tuhan, then you will be full life gitu. Maksudnya bisa jadi generasi milenial yang nggak usah cari-cari approval dari temen, seperti tadi kata Joy gitu. Nanti kalau temennya nyakiti kita down, kita sedih. Our approval, our word is in Jesus died on the cross for us. Gitu. Dan kalau mau spiritual healthy, ya kalau kita healthy baru bisa fruitful. Kalau orang sakit nggak bisa nolongin orang lain, tapi orang sehat bisa nolongin orang sakit. Gitu. Jadi kalau bisa penuhi hidup kita tuh dengan Tuhan gitu, penuhi, so your cup itu will overflow untuk bantu orang-orang sekitar kamu yang membutuhkan pertolongan gitu. Jadi kita kalau bisa anak-anak muda jangan menjadikan beban, tapi kita jangan, orang sakit itu jadi beban kan, orang sakit nyusahin orang kan gitu. If we are sick, mentally sick or spiritual sick, itu bakal nyusahin orang sekitar kita, keluarga kita, bikin orang tidak happy, lihat mukanya kita sedih dan lain sebagainya. So the first step is ask God, receive Jesus as your savior, then follow Him wherever He bring you to go through, lewat lembah, lewat kalau ada kita ngikuti Yesus, mau di puncak gunung, mau di lembah, semua bisa ninggalin kita. So Tante Helen cuma kepengen pesen bahwa no matter what, maybe you not believing in Christ now, tapi one day in one point you will need. If you need Him, it's not time to ask people to go to church. Well, nowadays church is closed. Ya, tapi yang penting when you are at the end of the road gitu, you cry out to God. Then he is always waiting for you to come into your heart, into your life, to heal you mentally, spiritually, physically. Then you can be a blessing and fruitful. Thank you.
So thank you again, everybody, for joining me today. Thank you to Joy.
Thank you so much
for sparing time to talk to us also. I hope that everybody is blessed. Thank you, everybody.